Now part of the treatment, we can give stomach wash or the gastric lavage. About 250 ml of 5% solution of sodium formaldehyde sulfoxylate and about 100 ml of this solution left in the stomach. So reason behind of it is that it decreases the process of absorption or the slow down the process of poisoning, and it is harmless, that's why we left into the stomach. Then we can also give egg albumin, which forms an insoluble albuminate of mercury, and we can give medicinal charcoal is also effective, and we can add magnesium sulfate, which increases its adsorptive power and rapidly or hastens the removal of ingested poison. We can give antidotes like bal and penicillamine, which are the cuprimines. Now in case of the damage of the kidneys, in that cases we can give peritoneal dialysis or hemodialysis. Then in case of the shock and collapse condition, so we can give the treatment according to the symptoms. Now post-mortem appearances, the tongue you can see whitish in color and sodden, it means thoroughly wet in appearance, and mouth generally has diffuse grayish white escharotic appearance. So eschar, it means hard crust over a raw surface of the skin, so it easily removes. Then example like the material covering a deep burn. Then a mucous membrane of the alimentary tract is inflamed and corroded. So there is a corrosion and inflammation of the mucous membrane, and the muscular cords are so softened that it is difficult to remove the organ without rupture. So muscular cords are become so soft that easily ruptured. Now mercury has a selective action on the cecum and large intestine, which show intense inflammation, ulceration, and even gangrenous condition. Then the kidneys show toxic nephritis, and liver and heart may show fatty degeneration and heart subendocardial hemorrhages. So we have seen acute mercurial poisoning. Now we are coming to chronic poisoning by mercury. So how it will be developed into the body. So this may be the result of the after effects of an acute attack. So after acute condition of the mercurial poisoning, it will turn into the chronic poisoning if it is for the long period of time. Then continuous accidental absorption in those working with the metal or its salts. So who are working into the manufacturing companies or who regularly dealing with the mercurial compounds, it will develop the poisoning. So in the manufacture of the thermometers, then fur felt mirrors and ultraviolet apparatus or fingerprint powder which contains mercury. Now the signs and symptoms of mercury poisoning are excessive salivation with metallic taste in the mouth. So there is a peculiar taste, metallic taste of the mercury in the mouth with salivation, with loosening of the teeth, with painful inflamed gums, and occasionally a blue-black line on the gums as with lead poisoning, with irritation of the skin, nephritis, abortion, and mercurial lentis. So when we talk about the chronic mercurial poisoning, at the time we never forget this mercurial lentis because it is very important. It is visible symptoms you can see, that is discoloration of the capsule of the lens of the eye due to deposition of mercury. So there is a deposition or the accumulation of the mercury into the lens of the eye. Now in nervous systems such as tremors and mental symptoms known as erethism are seen in chronic mercury poisoning. So erethism, it is a peculiar disturbance of the personality characterized by shyness. So patient become very shy, avoid any social activities, then become very irritable. So there is irritability, then tremors of the whole body, then loss of memory and insomnia. Patient cannot sleep, there is loss of sleep. Then the tremor is known as the hatter's shake because it is common in workers of that industry. So who worked into the industry of the making of the hat. So in the past, it has reported that they developed tremor condition. So it is known as hatter shake. Now it affects the hands, arms, tongue, and later the legs. So trembling you can see on the hands, arms, tongue, and legs, and it is the common in workers in mirror industry. Now the part of the treatment in case of chronic mercurial poisoning. So chronic condition, it will develop gradually. So we remove the exposure of mercury. So removal of patient from exposure to mercury and promoting elimination of mercury by bowels and kidneys, and the rest of treatment is symptomatic. Now postmortem appearances. At postmortem, the changes in the large intestine with necrosis, which spreads and may involve practically the whole of the lower bowels. So it will develop the necrosis, condition of necrosis into the large intestine. Then kidney damage consisting of tubular nephritis and fatty degeneration of liver and cardiac muscles are involved. So there is damage of kidney with fatty degeneration, you can see liver and in heart. Then in death from mercury poisoning, in addition to routine viscera, bones, teeth, hair and nails should also be preserved for chemical analysis. Now medico-legal aspects. Accidental poisoning may occur from accidental ingestion of antiseptic solutions containing the perchloride or cyanide, or of antiseptic tablets of perchloride or iodide. So there are many sources of mercury which are using in form of medicine, in form of tablets and for antiseptic use. So by mistake, if there is ingestion of this antiseptic solution or tablets, it will develop the poisoning. Then soluble salts employed as vaginal douches. So vaginal douche, in this procedure we are using a syringe with detachable nozzles using for the purpose of cleaning the vagina and to treat the infection. Then absorption of mercurial preparations applied to the skin and intravenous administration of organic mercurial as diuretics. Now in children, accidental poisoning may occur from the use of ammoniated mercury in some bleaching creams. So by mistake, if children ingested the bleaching creams, it will develop poisoning. Then swallowing of sulfocyanide of mercury, stick or tablet, the chief constitute of Faroha serpents, which when ignited give out pungent smell and as in the form of the long tortuous figure resembling a snake. So everyone knows it because in Diwali, uh, in form of crackers, we are making snake. It by the ignited, it will develop the smell, which is very strong, pungent smell. It is known as Faroha serpents. So by mistake, if there is a swallowing of this stick or the tablet, it will produce the poisoning. So suicidal and homicidal poisoning is rare, and after absorption, mercury passes rapidly to the fetus in utero through the placental circulation and passes rapidly to the fetus in utero through the placental circulation and causes abortion. So it absorbs easily through the placenta, and through the placental circulation it will produce abortion. Then it is also we can say it is occupational poisoning, because who are working into the manufacturing of the thermometer and manufacturing of the mirror and heads, so it will develop the poisoning. So here we are completing mercurial poisoning. Thank you.